Hey everybody, it's Mike Copero with podcastcondition.com, bringing you the 122nd episode of What You Drinking. Currently I'm right here by myself. Supposed to have a couple guys joining this evening, but they haven't arrived yet, and we're a little bit past the hour, so I thought I'd get us started and open up a beer here. So I dove into the closet. This is something I've been hanging on to probably like maybe just shy of a year. So we spun the wheel last week and we landed on local beer. So this is an American barley wine called Tickle Fight by Solemn Oath out of Naperville, Illinois. I don't know if you can see their cool caps are pretty sweet. There we go. But the label itself is also very, very cool. Most of all of their bombers, I should say, come in like a same style of label. It's nice and black. They've been actually really nice lately. I don't know if this has changed recently, but it's been. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Not too much. Just describing my beer to myself. So.
Well, please describe it to me.
So I got. We went local on the wheel last week, so I've got something out of actually where Kevin lives, Naperville, Illinois, a brewery called Solemn Oath, and it's a American-style barley wine that I've been hanging on to probably just under a year, hanging on to in the closet, and I figured this is a good night to pop that open. So I was just showing the label. Most of their label styles are
Nice.
in this kind of art form that's nice and dark. The label's always black. This one's called Tickle Fight.
It's a great beer name.
Sounds like a chick fight. Chick beer. Chick beer is a chick fight.
Their caps are cool too. I was just showing that off to the camera as well. It's not really getting good focus, but
Nice.
Tickle fight.
it's good stuff. I haven't grabbed a new one of these in a while, so I was like, I'm gonna go in the closet and grab the old one I've got. Oh, man, it smells good. So what do you guys have?
I've got a. This was a good category because I've had this beer only a week or two, but it's from a brewery that their stuff's it's local. It's their stuff's all over the place around here, but for some reason I just never seem to pick it up. There always seems to be something else I want instead, and I always get that, and I just kind of overlook it. But I need to stop doing that because I feel like every beer I have from here is great. So I went with Night Shift Brewing Trifecta, and it is a Belgian-style pale ale with vanilla beans. It's excellent. It's really, really good.
I always see that brewery being posted like on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. So I didn't know that. So they're in Massachusetts?
Yep, they're in Everett, which is just north of Boston, and supposedly the brewery is a really cool place to visit. I've never been there. It's sort of with Boston, it's like a place could be really close mileage-wise, but there's just no good way of getting there. Like there's no good way of getting to Everett from where I live, so it's just kind of even though it's not that far away. So I've never been, and I do hope to go soon. I'd like to go soon, and I definitely need to start picking up more of their beers because the few that I've had have all been great, and this is another example of that. So this is good. This is a good category. Hopefully, it'll encourage me to start drinking them more.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Like I said, I've seen and heard good things about them, so it's cool to actually see. I had no idea they were near you, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
I got a question though. I've got the window open today. Chris, are you hearing the airplanes in the background like you were that a couple months ago when I?
No, I don't hear them yet.
All right, that's good. I'll keep it open then. Because there was one just going by as Mike was talking. I'm like, I wonder if that's like bothering everybody.
No, I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it through the mic.
All right, good, cool. So what's going on with you, Chris?
Nothing else. Sorry I didn't make last week. I'm still probably, I guess, recovering. I had something going on Wednesday too, but probably still recovering from Beer Fest. So
yeah, we got Dan's like 2-minute pop-in review. So I was hoping we were going to catch you this week so we can hear your version.
Yeah, it was all right. It was other than me getting a little too tore up. Apparently on Friday night. Apparently I'm learning that either I'm getting older and a hangover is not, or drinking too much is not the same symptoms that I used to have, where I would spin before I go to bed, and now that doesn't happen. And apparently I wake up in the morning and I feel like I have the flu and I'm nauseated. That's happened twice now, and I didn't think it was that bad Friday night. Guys that were with me that were worse off. My brother-in-law seems to think it's an allergic reaction, so I'll go with that. And just an allergic reaction with some alcoholic beverages.
Allergic reaction to a lack of water, maybe.
That could have been. I mean, it was a long night. I think the worst part was we went to Pyramid Scheme Friday night. And
how is that?
It's okay. It's the front of it's like a hole-in-the-wall bar with a bunch of pinball machines in the front. And you get to the bar area and you walk just beyond the bar, and there's a hallway and a door, and that's where you go in another part of the bar for the band area. And we didn't go in that part at all. We stayed in that front part. We got in there before the hockey game got out. So as soon as the hockey game got out, the place got packed. But it was a Shorts tap takeover. And I sat down. Let me see if I get the
What hockey game? The Griffins?
Yeah, the Griffins. I don't know who the heck they were playing though. Gotta find the beer I drank to finish this story off.
You got anything tonight?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I'm drinking Outside Ales. I think it's a Nihilist. How do you pronounce it? Nihilist.
Have you ever seen The Big Lebowski? Let me see the label.
Somebody told me about this. Yeah, it's got
Nihilist, dude.
It's it's from The Big Lebowski, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what I was told, but I don't remember this part.
It's when they're in the parking lot and
what's his face dies?
Yeah, it's like during that scene.
Nihilist. This is a barrel-aged double India Pale Ale from them.
I just found out we're getting Outside Ales now as well as Shorts. Michigan is like shooting all their stuff over here now.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, Outside's it's a weird one. You'll pick one up and it'll blow your mind, and the next one you're kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. They got a little
Pale Ales. Fantastic. I'd put that up there with like Zombie Dust, if you ask me.
Right. So we're sitting at Pyramid Scheme. We've been drinking all day, off and on, and I had something to eat earlier in the day, big thing of macaroni and cheese, and we go into this Pyramid Scheme. I'm still trying to find. Yeah, here it is. We walk in there, and I look up, and I'm looking at the beers, and I'm on this mental. I gotta have everything that's bourbon barrel aged. Everything else can go to hell pretty much, unless it's like a double or triple IPA. Maybe sometimes I'll venture in there. So what do they have? They've got Shorts' The Wizard, which is a bourbon barrel aged barley wine with raisins. And I order one. It's like 11%, I think is what it is. What do they serve it to me in? A 16-ounce pint. I'm like, oh. I'm like, oh.
The end of the night?
Yeah, it starts the end. Yeah.
Oh. God.
And I'm just like, I don't want to drink this now, and I'm just like sucking on it. It's like, I mean, two guys I'm with are like going through their second beer, and I'm like halfway done with this. I'm like, oh dear Lord, shoot me! I didn't want this much of it. And I was talking to somebody at the beer fest about that, and they're like, okay, they don't have snifters. And he's like, yeah, would it hurt them to just fill a glass half full? And I'm like, exactly. That would have been perfect. It's like, Jesus.
So that was on tap?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had one of those, and then I had a little short glass of, they had some wacky, a couple of different berry beers there, and that was kind of a prelude to the beer fest, because that's pretty much all they brought. They brought some really, I don't know if we went over the tap list, but they had a couple sours. I want to say they had a Brett beer maybe. They just had just different stuff that they normally don't bring to the table.
Yeah, I remember talking about having a sour and a barrel-aged program starting up.
Right. And I had one of their, I don't remember what beer it was. It was kind of like Soft Parade, only a little bit more fruity at Pyramid Scheme. And then we went to B-Dubs, and then we were in bed, but I was in bed by 12:30. Woke up at 4, went to the bathroom, laid back down, and then I had the shivers and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going. So I start texting people. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to go today. You're going to find somebody else to take my ticket. I came down with something, and one thing leads to another. And buddy of mine comes in my room at about 9:15. He's like, listen, I'm going down to get some breakfast. Are you sure you don't want to go? And I'm like, I am starting to come around a little bit, but I still don't feel right. He's like, well, I'll come back up on the way back for breakfast. I'm like, all right. So I'm sitting there for another 5 minutes. I'm like, the bus leaves in an hour. I go, if I'm going to go, I better get up, take a shower now. I can't be screwing around and thinking about this for another 45 minutes. So I took a shower. Dan shows up. So we go down to the breakfast, and my other buddies show up, and one of them's this big burly guy. He's a ex-football player over at Wayne State in Detroit, but he's a nurse. And he comes up and he goes, how you doing? I'm like, I'm all right. I still don't feel quite. I couldn't eat. I didn't have any appetite. And he's like, hold on, I got some stuff for you. And he leaves. And he went up to the front desk, and he comes walking back, and he goes, all right, here's a pack of vitamin C. He goes, take some of this. It'll rejuvenate some of your vitamins in your body. He says, here's some Zantac. This will calm the acids down your stomach a little bit. I'm like, all right. Here's some Pepto. He goes, take this, but it may clog you up a little bit. But take this if your stomach's still kind of, unsettled. And I'm like, all right. And then he goes, and then take these two. And he throws down 2 tampons on the table.
I knew. I saw that picture.
I was like, you ass. That was perfect, though. He carried the tampons around all day, and I was walking around with them smoking like I was a cigar and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, it was all right. It was really mellow for me. I didn't get a lot of footage like I normally do for beer show, beer reviews. I usually get my promos there, and I got a few, but I didn't get that many. And we said it was kind of a mellow time. My brother had way too big of a time. He got into a heated argument with Dan about Chicago and Detroit and
really.
Yeah, it was. I got some good video if you ever want to see it.
Oh, dude, you have to send me that. Because he got into a really heated argument with who's the brewer that we were talking about in Michigan, the guy that we were at the hotel bar with.
Oh yeah, the guy Scott King or whatever.
Yeah, or no, it wasn't him. It was like a distributor guy.
Okay.
He worked with he was a distributor, so he not only but he loved craft beer, but he was talking about how. He's talking about the growth of all the other macro brands that they do, and Dan was just like attacking.
That's what's happened. So it's me and my brother and my brother's buddy from college that's there, and this is for his first beer festival. Yeah. And Ewart Reeves, he used to do. I don't think he's doing them anymore. He used to do a YouTube beer review show called Strange Bruisings. He's out of Windsor. And he's a cool dude. I've hung out with him before at the beer festival, but nothing to this extent where we're doing like a beer share in the hotel room. That's what we're doing at this point. It's like 9 o'clock at night. And Ewart's wasted because he'd been drinking. He'd been to they tried to go to Founders, and it was packed, and they ended up going to Stella's. And his 2 Canadian buddies would not let them. They wouldn't serve them liquor or food because they were so trashed. So he sat there, had a meal, and drank a beer while they just stood around and like. They couldn't do anything. It was so awkward. So he gets back, and he's like, dude, let's do a beer share. And I'm like, all right, I'm on my way back to the hotel. And so he brought some beers over, and we all sat around. And, it was my brother ended up pulling – why he brought these. He brought 2 chocolate glazed Boston cream donuts with him in a Ziploc bag. And I said, what'd you bring these for? And he goes, in case I was hungry. And I'm like, okay. Next thing I know, he's dipping one of them into. We were drinking.
I saw the video of this.
Yeah, he did one. The first one he did was the Tango Unchained or whatever, the Weyerbacher Brett beer we were drinking. He dips it in that, and just eats it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Next thing I know, we're drinking right at the end. We're drinking that Bourbon County, and he's dipping it in the Bourbon County, eating this Boston cream donut as he's dipping it in a Bourbon County stout. And it's like, it's just craziness. And again, we were in bed by probably 1 o'clock. I think is what time we finally crashed that night. You finally said, "I'm out of here," and left. And
who, Dan?
No, Dan was in my room. So, but yeah, it was good. It was good. Good
so
video.
How did this heated argument happen? I have to hear more details about that.
I have paid attention. It seems like Dan gets very passionate when when
Yeah.
consuming a lot of beer. He cares a lot.
My brother is a so he's a, and I've mentioned this
You know
before.
that's been in your videos before, right?
Who's that?
Your brother. I've seen.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah. He's the one that got me the Kid Rock video for Mr. Liquid Bread and stuff like that. My brother works for the Fox affiliate in Detroit. He does a show called The Americans with a guy by the name of Charlie LaDuff. He's like a Pulitzer Prize winning guy that used to live in New York, but he's originally from Detroit. Basically goes around and does all these stories around the nation about, you know, whatever's hot topic, whether it's you know, the guys that were out in, was it Utah or whatever, the militia guys or whatever, or, you know, Flintwater, whatever it is. They do this, you know, I don't know, it's like a 5-minute news piece they do like once every couple of weeks. And in fact, he was on what's the cooking guy that goes around to different parts of the world and shows, like, talks about oh God, what's it? Yes, he did the one. If you ever watched the one on Detroit, the guy he's walking around with most of that show and drives around with, that's Charlie LaDuff. I guess they're buddies or something like that. But anyways, so they're talking about because they did one of the stories they did about the whole south side of Chicago and, you know, the cops and the people down there and stuff, and somehow that came up in a conversation because we were talking about my brother and who he works for. Ewert knew who Charlie Duff is. Was talking about it. My brother ends up calling Charlie on the cell phone at like 11:30 at night, drunk. And Ewert picks up the phone and was like, "Hey, blah blah blah," and gives him his phone number like blindly and stuff. It was kind of weird. But anyways, it got on we got on the subject of all this, and then next thing you know, these two were talking about Chicago, and my brother's basing it off of what he's learned from the story they did, and obviously Dan's speaking from, you know, being there, and two different points and back and forth, and next thing I know, it's like, "Shut up, asshole!" And I'm like, "What's going on?"
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was funny though. We're like, I got a video of like they're like in each other's face, like talking, and then all of a sudden Ewert comes in dancing in the background, like trying to break up the stress level.
Oh,
like,
text me that video, dude. I need to see that.
Dan's be pissed, but oh well.
I don't care. That's entertaining.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was nothing big. My brother gets like that with anybody, anyways, when he's heated about something. And Dan was just, you know, the same on the other side of the coin. So it was kind of funny. So
you guys, it looked like you guys had some good beers that you opened up too. Dan had the Revolution barrel-aged Scotch ale, I think.
Oh, I don't remember that now. I posted
Bone,
them online. What was it called?
you
had a brown.
It was Bone something Digger Billy. God, I can't think of the name of it right now. It's a Revolution barrel-aged beer. They have a series that they do, and that was like their bourbon barrel-aged Scotch ale.
Hold on, I'm looking right now, right here.
Because I had a Bourbon County that same night.
Oh yeah, Gravedigger Billy.
Yeah, Gravedigger. That's it.
Yeah, that was okay. I've had one of their other ones, one of those that series, whatever that series is that they make, barrel series or whatever, in the box, and I don't remember which one it was.
They do a barley wine called Straight Jacket. There's an imperial milk stout called Very Mad Cow.
I'd have to look it up.
There's
Neither one of those sound familiar.
They do a regular porter called Eugene, and they did a coffee version called Bean Gene. There's a blueberry version called Blue Jeans.
Oh, okay.
Mean Gene. I can't remember all of them.
It's
a great series, though.
He pulled that out after we had already had Ewert's beers, and Ewert brought some good beers that people don't get down here. The best one was the first one we started off with, was Bring Out Your Dead by what the hell brewing company? Brewed and bottled by, it's out of Toronto, Bellwoods Brewing Company, I believe. And this Bring Out Your Dead, apparently, he says, yeah, Canadians we don't make any beers that anyone stands in line for. And he says, but Bring Out Your Dead is one of the ones where when you roll up, there's Canadians standing in line to get this beer. And that was pretty much, it tasted like Bourbon County Stout. It was that good. Imperial Stout aged in cognac barrels, but it had it didn't have quite the booziness there, but it was still really rich, really good. Then we had that skeleton. No, what do we have next? No, we had the Revolution. Then we had the Skeleton Key by Bella Woods, which was it's aged in rum barrels, and it had jalapeno in it, I think. And then we had the Evil Squirrel Brown Ale, which I think Dan brought. That was kind of a palate cleanser. We also had the Tango in there. By
Evil Squirrel, is that a New Glarus beer?
No, I don't know who that is.
So they do a Fat Squirrel. I didn't know if that was maybe an expanded version of that beer or not.
No, it doesn't look like New Glarus. It is some beer. Ring a bell? No.
Who is it? Zoom beer?
Zoom beer?
Oh yeah. That's it's in a suburb of Chicago. I can't remember which one.
Okay.
What's up, Kevin?
How you doing?
Good, man. How you been?
Not bad at all.
We're reliving Chris's fun times at the Michigan Brewers Fest, the Winter Beer Fest. And you were at a festival too, right? The same weekend.
Was that a week and a half ago?
It's hard to hear you a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really tinny.
Like your mic's inside your glass.
Yeah.
No, it's not. He looks in his glass. I love that.
It's not.
He looked. It's not.
I'm there.
I don't remember where let's see. I don't know. We're gonna have to either put up with it or kick me out.
If you move your cursor, you'll see like in the center there's like a little settings.
Yeah, control room. Nah, I don't know what to say.
I don't know.
Well, back on after I tell you what beer I had. Yeah, I have no idea.
We'll deal with it. We can hear you. It's just it sounds really weird.
Okay. Yeah, I'll log out and back on.
Oh, okay. So, all right, cool. Yeah, but he it's funny. There's a beer festival in Naperville, where my beer's from, and where Kevin lives. Same weekend as the Michigan one that you were at.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how that went too, because I don't even know who was supposed to be there. But how was the fest itself? I mean, was it pretty comparable to the year that we met there, and in regards to size, and I mean, you had much better weather, I would assume.
Yeah, it was for the most part it was the same. Pretty much the same layout. Some of the breweries that normally bring a lot of beers, like Dark Horse, didn't bring as much. But it seemed like every other brewery had something that was bourbon barrel aged. Everybody. Witch's Hat. Oh my God! They again had some amazing bourbon barrel aged beers. They had a vanilla bean and bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, I believe. They had a peanut butter something or other beer. We kept hitting them because they had something different each time. But yeah, there was a lot of really good beers. Yeah, it was a good time. Good time. Nothing I don't think really extraordinary happened, but yeah, it was a good time.
Cool. Let's see what you sound like, Kev.
All right. How does it sound now?
It's the same. It's all right.
I'll figure it out sometime.
No problem.
Do you know where the speaker's in there, or the mic is on there? Did I get it right? Is it local?
Yeah.
Local?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I have. This is a collaboration between two brothers, which is local to me out here, and Metropolitan Brewing.
Oh,
Chicago.
nice.
So
you doubled up on the local.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I saw you picked local. This it must be brand new because it's got like one review on Beer Advocate.
I've never heard of that one. What's it called?
I saw it yesterday and picked it up. It says it's an India Pale Lager. It says it's basically a mix. They said it's a collaborative take on an IPA, but they use Metropolitan's yeast, lager yeast, because Metropolitan is all lagers.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
What's the beer called again?
False Dichotomy. Yeah. It's kind of an intense name.
I'm a big fan of Metropolitan.
Yeah. It's a little bit. It's a 7.2, like pale lager. So it's actually pretty good. I can't decide what it tastes like, but I wouldn't have picked it out as a pale lager. It's just got a lot. It feels heavier, like has more like a heavier mouthfeel or something.
Hmm.
It's so rare that I actually try a beer for the first time when I'm on the show here.
Right. That's cool. I'll have to keep my eye out for that one. If you like it and recommend it, I'll definitely
I
check
do like
that.
it. But I'll check in again after I finish it just to see how it goes.
So it's a pale lager? Is
Yeah,
that?
it says what is it? India Pale Lager.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what that. I can't think of anything else I've seen.
Sounds like a hop. It would be like a hopped up lager, maybe.
Yeah.
How would you compare that to, like, I don't know, like the Pivo Pills from Firestone Walker? That's a pretty hoppy lager.
I don't know that one. This is closer to You ever have the was it the double Dortmunder from Great Lakes?
Yeah.
It's a little closer to that.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's not a style I'm used to having, so it's hard to compare.
Yeah. My wife is more of an IPA drinker, so it's occasionally I'll get like a mixed 6-pack, mix it up with some lagers and some IPAs and some other styles in there too that might be more of just me exploring into different styles. And man, have you had the Magnetron, their Schwartz beer? From
I think I've had that one once.
Your mic just kicked in really good.
Oh, good.
You sound perfectly fine.
Oh yeah,
now.
there he is. He's back.
That was me, and that was just me.
Could you clear your throat
It's a frog.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So the Schwartz beer, you were gonna say something?
No, I think I've had it. I don't remember. I can picture the label. It's got that robot on it. But
Well,
and I know I've. You're right. but yeah,
it's it used to be just a seasonal, and now it's all year round. So you can get it anytime now. It's
okay.
awesome.
Yeah, their stuff is really good. The
did you say that they were all lagers? Is that what
that's right. They're all lagers.
Yeah, they're like one of the first craft beer breweries in Chicago, actually, besides Goose Island. After that, it was like Metropolitan, and then Half Acre, and then all the others kind of stumbled in after that. So they were.
Were you there with me when we met the guy and his wife that brewed for Metropolitan, and it was before they had even opened up this?
At the Oak Park Fest.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, that was it was a good time. It's funny, the married couple that started that brewery, they're no longer together, but they still stick together as far as business partners go. And I forget her name. She's really cool. I've heard her on a lot of podcasts doing interviews, and they've got a really cool. Just got a really cool thing going. They're expanding too into the Avondale neighborhood. They're going to be opening another location, probably, where Kuma's is, pretty much in that general area.
Mm-hmm.
So they're expanding. They're going to have a tap room and I think a kitchen and everything too. So that'll be cool because, like I said, I remember when we met them, and like you were saying. I remember asking them, like, you guys are just doing lagers, huh? And they're like, yeah, no one was doing that at the time. And I was like, all right, cool. And now they're awesome. It's kind of like Wolverine in Michigan, right? Chris, that's all lagers, isn't it? Chris
I'm sorry. I was looking at. Did you ask me?
Yeah, I was saying Wolverine is all lagers too, isn't it?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Or Jack's Abbey here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a great one, man. That was everything from them was great. I don't know. There's something about because you could do a lot with lagers apparently, because there's a lot of them that are just as hoppy as the IPAs that are out there, and they're more they're really crisp and clean, and there's something about that kind of a style of beer that works.
Yep.
And it's interesting that you can model your whole brewery on just that one section of the entire spectrum of beers. It's kind of hard because there's a brewery here I think they're Chicago, but they're based out of the suburbs. But Unani is one that Dan's always talking about, and they specialized in like Belgian style beers, and to in order to like kind of make a little extra money on top of being able to do what they want to do, they had to like spawn off with another side brand called Hubbard's Cave, where they'll do more of the IPAs and stouts and things like that are a little bit more popular and sell a little bit more, while being able to stick to the same style of brewery that they had originally planned to do. So it's kind of a cool way of doing things when you can kind of find that little niche and do it really well. Metropolitan is probably one of the best, and I think Jack's Abbey is right up there too, because I've only had a handful of their stuff, but that day we did a couple flights, didn't we, Mike? That day before we took some home.
We tried a lot for the short time we were there. That's for sure.
It's really good. So it works. So tell us about the Winterfest, Kev.
Oh, yeah, it was a good one. It's the second time I've been to that. I was there for the inaugural year, probably 3 years ago. I wasn't able to make the last couple, but it was. What's unique about it is it's an outdoor beer festival in February in Chicagoland. So it's been uncomfortably cold. We got lucky this year, and it was like sunny and 50 degrees, so it was perfect. They have all the usual suspects there. We were talking about how years ago when we go to a beer festival, it would be interesting to see a local brewery. Oh, like this one's from Illinois. It's not Goose Island, and it's local. And this time it was you kind of had to seek out brewers that weren't local, because it was like 5 tenths worth of breweries that some of them. I think we've talked about it before, how we're the type of guys that hear about this thing, local breweries, and there's still just so many. You get in there, and where are you from? Like Plainfield. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like a couple miles from my house, and I never heard of you. So there's just so many. That
means he likes it.
Yeah. It was cool. They had a bunch of food trucks there too, so it was a really good event. I remember the first time I went, all the breweries seemed to run out of beer before it was over.
What?
And they had said this wasn't this year. It didn't happen, but we were all kind of complaining, like, why on earth would you do that? You've got all these people here to try your beer. Why would you run out? That's why you're here. And I remember they were saying how, like, we were limited in how much we could bring by the organization.
Huh.
But I was happy that this year that didn't happen. That everybody seemed to have all their beers.
Who organizes that? Is that
if you asked me last week, I probably would remember, and I can't off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't remember.
What beers did you have worth noting? Anything?
The funny thing is, the one I remember is one that I did not seek out, and I wouldn't have. I was in the Dark Horse line, and the signs weren't really good, so you couldn't really see what they had until you got up there, and it was really crowded. So I was like, oh, I'll just pick one and jump in. And they had the 4 Elf, the Winter Warmer, which I've had. I had a 4-pack of that, and they had the Blueberry Stout, like Blueberry Imperial Stout. I forgot what that's called.
I think it's just two.
Tray Blueberry.
Yeah.
Tray? Yeah.
And so I was like, not something I would have tried to get. I was like, I'll get the blueberry one. And it's not something I would get, and that's why I'm here. And it was really, really good. I didn't expect to like it, and I thought, I'll just have the 3 ounces. Like, that was in the end, I was kind of I was almost ashamed. I tried all these beers, and the one that popped out was this crazy blueberry one that did it really well because it was so roasty.
They bourbon barrel aged that this year and released it in bottles, and then they had it at the Winter Beer Fest. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By the way, just a side note, while you're on Dark Horse, and I'll real quick, I heard a rumor the other night that they are bourbon barrel aging also Scotty Karate. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can try to swing over there and get some of that. It's supposed to come out. I think this weekend when KBS comes out. So.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff. Like every hour on the hour, they were tapping one of the Bourbon County variants. I never got one. The line would just be too long. It wasn't worth spending half the time waiting in line for the one beer. But they had those, and I accidentally found myself in the line for what's the barley wine from Bigfoot. From Sierra Nevada. They were tapping it. I happened to be standing right there, and they were like, "Oh, we're counting down. Hey, we're tapping this." And everybody around me had been waiting there for 20 minutes waiting for them to tap it. So I got to, and that was a good one. Obviously I've had my share of those before. But they were good. The event was fantastic. It's just the weather kind of makes it great, especially since we haven't had, it's been so many months since a nice outdoor beer festival.
Was there a style that kind of took over majority? Like it's winter, so were there a lot more stouts and barley wines?
There was a lot of a lot of barley wines and some like the 4-Elf. What do they call that? A winter warmer. Just like pretty strong, basically strong boozy beers. There was a little more than usual.
Nice. Yeah, That sounds like what Chris was saying. Pretty much, he said in Michigan their beer fest was like almost all bourbon barrel aged beers, like all over the place. So that's cool. Shoot, I was just gonna ask you something else. There was something beer related that I wanted to ask you, and you didn't make it last week, and now I can't remember what it was. It was on the tip of my tongue, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, I can't remember.
Oh well. Have you been to Solemn Oath lately? I know you.
Yeah, we were actually there this weekend. We just basically stopped by for a drink on the way back home from dinner with another couple around here, and I had
You would have missed my friends Nick and Nick from the show. He used to be on the show. He and Brad and Sarah. they were there at Solemn Oath during the day though, so you would have missed him if you went there in the evening.
We went there and I had La Grip, Imperial Black Saison.
Ooh. I'm having the tickle fight right now, so.
Tickle fight! I still love that.
Is that a beer or something else going on?
It's the beer, I swear.
Tickle fight brewed by Elmo.
Because he's got the tickle me Elmo. That's what
I got it.
Not to say that beer tastes bad. I'm just saying that's the thing that's running through my head right now.
No, the beer is amazing actually. So, I think we touched on it last week, but I saw the on top of the Shorts expansion into Chicago and Pennsylvania. I guess they're going into Indiana and Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Something
later
like
on this year. What else was I seeing? I had a couple stories pulled up just in case. Bell's is expanding there.
Bell's is expanding again, are they?
Yeah, their distribution.
Yay! Everybody gets Oberon in a few weeks.
Coronado's going to be canning. The Rubaeus from Founders. They're doing a Ruby Cube. It's like a 9-pack of cans.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
That's a good beer. That's what I was going to ask, because Kevin had forwarded an article that I guess he was reading in a magazine. It looked like, because he took a snapshot of it. So I'll ask him when he gets back. But there's a lot. This year is like the big push on I guess beers on nitro. Kevin, I was just referring to the.
I just heard that as I walked back over here.
Okay, so Founders is doing 3 of their beers. Are you seeing a lot of those in your neck of the woods, Chris? I haven't seen any. I haven't been to any bars since I had a kid, so I need to live vicariously through you. Especially in Chicago, I don't even know if they're doing it. So is it a Michigan only thing? Do you know, or is Founders doing that kind of all over?
No, I've seen that. I haven't seen it. I'm trying to. I haven't. I don't go to bars all that much either. a 501 here or there, and it's usually a hole in the wall that's got the Applebee's tap lineup, which is Two-Hearted Bell's Amber and Leinenkugel's. That's what I call it now. I've dubbed as the Applebee's lineup. Anyways, I have seen that. I've seen people talking about it and stuff like that, but I haven't actually been anywhere. I've seen like founders and stuff like that posting that. But yeah, you're right. They'll nitro pretty much anything right now. Now, I have been to Arcadia a couple times recently, and they've always either had a Firkin or nitro of something wacky. So they haven't added any extra nitro taps or Firkins. But they've always had stuff that's wacky. Like they'll take, Whitson and put it on a Firkin and add extra, orange peel or something to it, that was one of the worst ones I've ever had. A wheat beer should never be on Firkin, in my opinion. Just blah. But anyways, yeah, I've been seeing that trend. I agree with you. I don't know if it's just a Michigan thing though. I thought I've seen it other places too. Breweries, taking beers that typically aren't on it. Yeah.
I didn't mean just Michigan's doing the nitro, but I mean Michigan was only seeing the founders ones. So, Kevin, where'd you get that article that you were sending me that snapshot from?
Beer Advocate magazine, and it was actually what was it about? Oh, it was, you're right. It was about nitro, but the little section was about specifically the Goose Island IPA, and
it was Matt Brindleson, who is the main brewer over at Firestone Walker now.
Oh, okay.
He started at Goose Island, so that was his quote that if I remember correctly. But go on then.
And the interesting thing was how back in '98 when they were making it for the first time, it was originally made intended to be on nitro tap. Excuse me, which I thought was interesting because I wouldn't have thought of a Goose Island IPA as a nitro tapped beer.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder what that tastes like. That'd be weird.
Yeah. Well, they didn't go with it, so.
But that doesn't mean it wasn't good. It just means that it might not have sold back then because it might not have.
Yeah. Sure.
That's appreciated. So I had a beer on nitro yesterday. I was at Revolution. It was our anniversary, so we went to revisit the scene of the crime and had lunch at Revolution, and they had an English style bitter on nitro, and I had a sampler of it because I wanted to try it. I wanted to commit fully because there were so many different ones that I hadn't had, so I kind of tried a few that were different that I never had before, but I was mostly interested in it because I ordered one of their specials was a mussel. A bowl of mussels, and first of all, I always get the mussels at Hop Leaf in Chicago. If you're local to Chicago, the Hop Leaf. If you are visiting Chicago and you are researching good beer spots, you'll see the Hop Leaf come up. They do a lot of Belgian style food along with their amazing beer list, but their mussels are top notch in my opinion, and these ones that I had at Revolution yesterday, they almost were better. They were really good, and they were made with the English style bitter that I had. So I wanted to try it on nitro since that's also like I said, seems to be an up and coming style of beer that they're doing now. It was amazing. It was really good. There was some really good beers there. They had a couple of German-style lagers and just different styles that normally, they have a lot of IPAs usually, but they had some were a little bit lower ABV on the lager end, and it was good. But one of the things I was going to say, so Founders is doing their, which ones are they doing, Chris? It's the Rubaeus on nitro, which intrigued me the most, if you ask me. It's Rubaeus? I always say Rubaeus.
Rubaeus, like Rubik's Cube, Rubaeus.
I get it. Cool.
That's what I've been told. You may be right. That's what everybody calls it around here. So.
All right, sounds well. You do live in that state.
Just say it's a Chicago accent,
Yeah, right. So that one looks really good to me. I don't know. What do you think of the original beer? First of all, is that something that you're into, or is that just too fruity? And
The Rubius?
Yeah.
It's I had it a few summers ago. I haven't had it since then. When they first re-released it, because I guess it was a beer they released a long time ago. They re-released it, and then now I think it's a year long, right? I believe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean they're doing 9 packs of cans now, so I think
Right.
it is all year round.
when they released it, gosh, it had to be 2013 or 2014 when they re-released it. I had a 6-pack, and there's a lot going on. I mean, it's a sweet, tart kind of beer, but it's not. Put it this way, it was during a garage sale time. We were doing a garage sale at our house, and I sat there and I think I sucked down almost half that 6-pack, maybe almost all of it, and I was feeling really good. And it's middle of summer, so it's I wouldn't call it a lawnmower beer in the sense that you can drink it while you're mowing the lawn, but lawnmower in the sense that it's that hot time of year. It might have been it might have been the only beer I had in the fridge too, so that might have been why I sucked it down. I'm not sure. It was good. I remember it being really sweet and tart. It wasn't sticky sweet, but it was more of a maybe not I wouldn't say dry, but drier than to go away from the sticky part, and I guess to a drier type sweeter beer a little bit. It was good.
Yeah. I like that one. I had it when I was. Grand Rapids is usually the midpoint between my wife and I driving from Chicago to Bel Air up north. So we usually almost always stop at Founders for lunch. And so I remember having it during that point, and I liked it a lot. But so I'm interested to see what it's like on Nitro. What are the other ones that they're doing? They're doing an oatmeal stout? Is it
an oatmeal stout? Pale ale.
And then the pale ale too, right?
I haven't actually paid attention to what they got on the tap, what they're doing with that. I thought there was Project Pam. Are they doing Project Pam on Nitro too? I thought maybe.
Oh, I didn't hear that, but that'd be great. I love that beer.
What is that one?
It's basically CBS. It's kind of the same barrels and everything, but they did their black IPA instead of the breakfast stout.
Yeah, it's like a black IPA in maple barrels.
Okay.
Yeah, the maple syrup barrels. Yeah, I've got a bottle of it out in the garage. That almost was my. If you would have done the podcast on a weekend or a Friday night, I probably would have cracked that tonight. It's a bomber. So
my beer is like 11.5%. I challenge you, sir.
I'm gonna drink this damn thing. I forgot I had this sitting here. I'm gonna drink this. I was just sitting here going, drink me. But sitting here like for an hour. I was gonna come down in about an hour and get ready for the show, and I set this down down here on the desk, and I overpoured. And then I took a nap for about 15 minutes, and then talked to the wife, and then came down with a brand new cold beer for the show. I forgot this one was sitting under, so I'm drinking a warm pineapple sculpin now.
There you go.
Good one.
Anyways, yeah, that's this is that Founders, or it's Grand Rapids Beer Week, and this is obviously KBS is being released. I talked to a local place here that they are getting it on Thursday and can't tap it till Friday or Saturday, or sell it. I should say sell it. So yeah, there's probably a lot of stuff going on up there right now because of the whole beer week. Supposedly they do take KBS and release it to some local bars in town and let them tap it throughout the week to kind of gain flocks of people to go to these, little nooks and cranny places, bars around Grand Rapids that normally don't get as many people. Just to kind of do that, and then eventually they'll tap it at Founders.
So I mean, it's gone probably that first weekend, or is there a chance that because when is it? It's released this weekend or next weekend?
This weekend.
So is there a chance in 2 weeks there's going to be any in Grand Rapids at all?
On tap, possibly. You may find somebody tapping some, but you're not going to find it probably in bottles. Unfortunately, that stuff, the Michigan people just rape that stuff. Now, here's some side news. There's this kind of like this flea market / weird grocery store family-owned chain here in the southern part of Michigan. There's one outside Grand Rapids. There's one here in Battle Creek and Lansing and a couple other places. And I go to the one here in Battle Creek because they used to They used to have a pretty good beer selection, but they didn't move it very quick. Then they turned into having a craft bar that had like 4 taps, and I was like, all right, there's not a lot of beers on tap. That's kind of cool. They'll let you drink a beer and walk around and shop. Then they turned into a 30 tap establishment, and so I'll go down there because they'll have some stuff that I don't see tapped other places here in Michigan. Normally, Michigan beers will surprise you, but they'll have other beers on tap that are outside the state. And I went down there on one day. And I said, I'm going to have a beer. Wife and kid are out doing some shopping. I'm leaving work. Went down there, talking to the guy. And guess what I ended up doing? I ended up applying for a job. I got a call back today. So out of just my beer prowess, I just want to do something on the side and sling craft beers. And I thought this would be a great place because they're only open until like 8 o'clock. So there's no chance to work until 2 a.m. or anything like that.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, so moral of the story is if I get hired with enough time, I may get my hands on a 4-pack of KBS just because I work there.
Nice.
So I don't know if that'll happen.
Hey,
so,
do what you love.
well, I thought it to be kind of, I'm not really looking for any extra income. He was telling me, the manager says, yeah, we're still looking for other people, and I asked him what time of day, and he said, it's basically when I'm off work. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. It's the first time in a long time that I filled out a application like that right on the spot, asking me about like hourly wage and all this stuff. This reminded me back when I was younger and I was, had different job schemes at that time and stuff. They had a test at the end and asking me math problems, and I'm like, I honestly don't care. And I whipped my cell phone out and was like adding the stuff up on the phone and just down. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're not going to give me the job. So.
That's awesome. There was actual math problems on the application.
Yeah. Well, it was the application for the whole grocery store chain thing. So it's just a generic thing. In fact, the guy said, he goes, when you fill this out, he goes, I know you're into beer because we were talking about beer for a while that night. He goes, make sure you put on there that you also know wine. And I'm like, red and white's about all I know. It comes in a bottle. So I was like on there, I'm like, yeah, I like wine too, and wine, blah, blah. And I just tried to bullshit, I guess we'll find out Friday because I interview, so.
Mike, what's going on the East Coast? Any beer news, any Trillium updates, or any other breweries popping up in that area?
No, I was in California.
Oh yeah.
For the last 10 days, I guess. We got back Monday, visiting my wife's family. So I was trying to drink whatever local California beers I could find while I was out there, and I started. We went to the beach. We got there Saturday. We went to the beach Sunday, and her family had brought like a whole bunch of Lagunitas IPA, and I was like, oh, perfect! Like starting off with a classic IPA on the beach, California. This is great. This is a good start. So from that point on, I just stuck with California IPAs the whole trip I was out there. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with this style. I'm just gonna go with it. And so. I drank a lot of Racer 5 and Sculpin. There's a brewery called Rough Draft Brewing Company. I think they're in San Diego. They've got a good IPA called a Racer IPA. I had one that I had never had before from Mother Earth Brewing Company, which is in a kind of suburb of San Diego, called Kismet IPA. I poured it. It was in a bomber. I poured it in a glass. I smelled it, and I'm like, this smells like a bouquet of flowers. It smells like there's a bouquet of flowers sitting here. I'm about to drink the water out of it. It was just
crazy.
It was a little weird, a little unsettling because I'm like, I don't know what to expect. It just smells really funky. But it tasted fantastic. It was a great IPA, kind of very unique. And if I ever see that here, I'd buy a couple bottles of it because it was excellent. So good. It was a good trip, and really I think I that's all I drank was California IPAs out there. It was good.
What part in California were you guys at?
Orange County. So all of her family is kind of all over Orange County, and we left. We went to San Diego. We went to the San Diego Zoo, where I had never been, but was a fun place to visit. The place is gigantic. I mean, I've been to zoos before and stuff, but we were
I've heard
there.
you can't like cover it all in one day. It's like
No,
huge.
like we did. I mean, I think if you hustled through, you probably could, but it'd be a workout. I mean, we were moving pretty good for having two young kids. Like we went through it pretty well, I thought. But we were there from like 10 to 3 or so, and we maybe did 2/3 of it. Like it's a gigantic place, but it was a lot of fun. But other than that, we were in Orange County the whole time, visiting friends and family, and we went to Disney one day, and it was a good time.
We're starting to lose them.
Yeah, I think we're losing you, Mike.
Are you there?
You're pixelating into the Matrix.
Oh,
Yep, there you are.
Oh, good.
Now we can hear you now.
Yeah, it was a good trip. Good trip. So.
Bring anything home, or you just kind of enjoy what you had out there?
No, it was man. After the last 2 trips that I did, my wife and I we're out to California for a wedding in the fall, and then I traveled for work, a month ago to Seattle just on my own. Man, it's so relaxing traveling on your own or just with another adult. You travel with kids, and it's like it's a whole different experience. So no, unfortunately, I didn't bring anything back. The luggage was spoken for, and I had about as much space as I could get for my clothes, and that was it.
I get that. I totally get it. We're possibly planning a trip in April to fly to Florida, and I'm like, I gotta Google like how to travel with a baby. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. I have no idea. You guys all laugh, but I have no idea.
No, the trick is just whatever they want. Like they want to eat junk, like that's fine. They want to just zone out and watch something on the iPad, that's fine. Like whatever it takes to keep them happy and quiet, like that's what you do.
What if you can't reason with them because they don't speak English yet or speak words at all?
You make it sound like you expect to reason with them in the future.
Yeah. Actually, Mike, I'm going to tell you, I think that's probably better. Like, I think it's better.
You're probably right.
It's probably a good time to travel with them.
You're right. And it's cheaper too.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Glad we got to hear about the 2 Winter Beer Fests that you guys got to go to. So we'll meet next week. Let's figure out what we want to drink. I figure we'll just leave the wheel. If we land on the same thing, I'll just delete it and we'll respin. But we're already past the hour, so I'll let you guys get going with your evening. After we spin and land on, what do we have?
Strange ingredient.
All right. So that's been on there for a while. That's cool. So.
And your habanero sculpin, and
that would work.
Yes, something weird.
The beard beer.
Ooh, yeah, that's gross.
That would be a good one.
Would that fit?
Mike's face is like, oh, that's gross. It's like nose curled and everything on that.
Every time I think about that one particular beer, it's
just like you're up on some guy's face, just licking his beard.
Well, I mean, I had a beard not too long ago, and I could just imagine nobody wants this, like in a beard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping on, guys. Appreciate it. It was good to catch up, and well, if you can join us, we'll be back next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you ever want to join us, join our circles and let me know that you want to get the invite every week, and we'll send it out. And you could join us if newbies are welcome. But as always, we'll see you guys Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.